Hi, everybody. Joe Compton here. And yes, this is not typically how we start our show here, but it's very important that we do this today. We're saying goodbye to an awesome member of our community in Annie Smith, who we lost earlier in the week. If you don't know, Annie was the mother of Lily Lucchese and also her business partner. They ran Partners in Crime Book Services. And I talked about all of the achievements and contributions that Annie made to the indie community and beyond on Friday on our late night news show, which you can go check out if you want to see that. I did that at the beginning of that show, and I mentioned that on that show that I would be telling a story about some personal interaction that I had with Annie today. So that's what I'm here doing. So I did an Origins episode with Lily Lucchese, which has been up, and you can go check it out if you haven't, over on our channel. It's a really great episode. We go into a lot about how Annie was instrumental in helping Lily get to where she is now. And we talk about her mother and how much she means to Lily. And there's a great moment in it as well. One of my favorite moments ever in any show I've ever done, where Lily tells this little joke and you hear this incredible laughter in the background, and that is Annie. And it's just amazing. And it's in the episode, so you can look for yourselves and hear it for yourselves. But it's really a really awesome moment. So after the interview was over, this is about a couple hours later, I get this message on Facebook that Annie has direct messaged me. I went and got the message, and it was basically Annie telling me how great a job that I did and how much she was appreciative of the questions that I asked, and that I asked really great questions, and that it was a really great interview. And that meant so much to me. I really cherished that. I was beaming from that. I mean, it was so amazing to get that like instant feedback, and it was just so awesome. And it's why I work hard on every show that I do and edit, but I really wanted to make this one really, really good. That message carried that. And from everything that Lily has told me, that's just the person that she is. And that's amazing. And it's really sad that we've have to say goodbye and that we've lost her. But I mean, just that little bit, that tiny, message means so much to me. And I can't imagine, how many times she's done that, and how many times and how many people out there she's affected by just simply doing that, by showing gratitude. I mean, it's a life lesson that I cherish and take with me, and know that it's something special. And so she's a big part of that. And so I thank her so much for it. I mean, I hold on to it, and it's really important to me. So let's have a moment of silence, and then the show will start. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning and welcome to This Week in Indies. Today we are discussing the topic of using critique groups, beta readers, and ARC readers to further our work as indie artists. Are they beneficial, or is it better to take a route with paying people for feedback on their manuscript? Do ARC readers actually go out and post the reviews when they sign up? We'll discuss this topic and more as we sit down with our roundtable of panelists. Then we have another fantastic indie connection with CL Cannon, as she brings us a great collection of indie books similar to that of Zero Repeat Forever, The Nax Invasions Book 1 by Gabriel S. Dragast. And finally, for the last 5 minutes of the show, we have CL Cannon again as she shares with us a little bit about her latest release. Here's your host for today, Madilynn Dale. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. I know we've got quite a crowd already. And we're going to have a busy show, so let's see. We've got Anita and Miss Alicia. Hey, guys, how are y'all? I'm Madilynn Dale. I am a fantasy romance, paranormal, kind of mixed genre author. I have several published books out wide. And I also run the Chapter Goddess, which is our sponsor for today, where I interview authors and focus on their authentic self and their work. But today is not about me. We have a great group of authors to discuss our fun topic of critique groups, beta readers, and ARC readers. So let's meet the team. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Good morning.
We're going to go around and let you guys give a brief introduction of yourself. Tell us a little bit about your work and where we can find it. So we're going to start with Allegra.
Hi, folks. I'm Allegra Pescatore. I write in a whole wide variety of fantasy and science fiction genres in books like NaCl, Eye of the Storm, Where Shadows Lie, and A Bond of Thread. I also run some thriving Discord communities and a YouTube channel under the name Plot Mom, and generally am that co-authoring writer in most of my circles. So if you'd like to find out more about me, my link is below, and I'm really excited to be here today.
Well, thanks for joining us, Allegra. Adam?
Hey, I'm Adam Gaffin. I'm a science fiction writer as well, creator of the Cassidy Chronicles. My website is right down below. Other side. Okay. And yeah, I know. Always reversed. Never get it right the first time. So my latest book is Into the Black, and it's a collection of Cassidy-verse stories. My next book comes out in June, and as always, I'm thrilled to be here on a Sunday morning with such wonderful authors.
It's good to have you here, Adam. Miss Nikki.
Oh, God, it's me. Hi. I was expecting to be last. Hi, I'm Nikki Nelson Hicks. I write a bunch of different kind of things, rock and genres, from steampunk to horror to pulp noir. The thing I'm really focusing on today pretty much are my Jake Ishinheji stories, because I did a lot of these with a lot of beta readers and a lot of input from friends and just other authors to make them the best stories they can be, which is what basically it's all about.
Nice. Thanks for joining us today, Nikki.
Okay.
And Courtney?
Hi, I am Courtney CL Cannon. I write fantasy and sci-fi, YA mostly, a little bit of adult stuff. And I am the owner of Fiction Atlas Press, where we do a bunch of multi-author anthologies. We're right now seeking submissions for our 10th and 11th, so we've been doing it for quite a while. So we get to work with a lot of beta and ARC readers doing that. And I do a lot of things here on Go Indie Now, which you can see from the intro. But I'm excited to be here and to talk about this topic. And my website is below.
Well, thank you for being here today. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So I know we all have some kind of outlet that we use to help us. But what are your thoughts about using critique groups and beta readers and ARC readers? Do you have one that you use more over the other? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll throw this out there. I haven't used critique groups specifically. I always have my books out to beta readers, and then ARC readers before they go out. And I found that to be very helpful. Something else that I've inadvertently found to be helpful is when it goes out to a narrator, because they catch a lot of the little details, because they're reading it and they'll come across something and they'll say, "Oh, this doesn't sound right." So they let me know and I can fix it. But I've had pretty good success with the beta readers and the ARC readers, and getting reviews back from them and getting those up on Amazon. So I'm like, yes, definitely. I use them, but I'd love to hear what somebody else has to say about the critique groups.
Well, I have a bit of an unusual situation in that I write in an author collective. Most of us are co-authoring in various different configurations. So there's about 10 people. And we are in each other's manuscripts from the get-go, like while we're drafting, while we are doing every phase of the editing. So I'll wake up in the morning to hundreds of comments on my books from my co-authors being like, are you sure you wanted to do that? Or that seems like a plot hole. So like this whole concept of like writing alone in a room without any feedback is kind of foreign to my process.
Mhm.
But I also do use beta readers. I actually have a couple paid beta readers and a few beta readers who are fans and who love the work, and they both give different feedback. And of course an ARC team too, but they're very, very different beasts, ARC teams and beta teams.
I find it's always good to also to have in your beta readers also writers versus just readers, because a writer reads it the whole different kind of eyes. They're reading it for syntax and all kinds of things that a reader who just likes to read doesn't read it for. So I find I get really good feedback from both sides. It's like getting two sides of the brain. So that helps me a lot.
I agree with Nikki. Having writers and readers read your story. I have not done any critique groups. Usually I just use my ARC team, or I go through Book Sirens, or I do, just beta readers that I have used over the years and that I trust. And that mix of reader and author is really different, because I have even noticed a change to myself since I became a writer and how I dissect a story once I start reading it. There's a whole different checklist in my head from than when I was just a reader. It's
Right.
amazing the difference.
Right. And trust is really important, because I've been a part of critique groups. I was a part of the National Writers Group for many, many years. And the thing about them, I used to tell people, especially people who came into the group new, is you're going to find maybe 5-6 people you really click with, and they're going to be your people. And you got to be careful, because you're going to get those. They're not good people. They're not nice people. They just want to break you down. And they're out there. You're going to find them. So you have to really care about who you trust with your work and what you trust what they say to you. If what they say to you does not really it doesn't really sync up with what you're trying to do, ignore them. Just because they give you advice doesn't mean you have to take it.
On the other side of that, also, it's very easy for beta readers to grow attached to your work and start really loving it, and for their critique to have less and less value because they're fans.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, there's several beta readers who I absolutely adore, and I still send my books out to them because they will spot every inconsistency and plot hole. But I know that they're never going to give me the like harsh, brutal feedback that it needs to really make it better.
Oh, there's nothing better than having a critique partner who just kind of looks at you with just the look of like, and you just know, oh my gosh, okay, I've done it again. I have a friend, she's a critique partner, and she's great. The deal is she's very, very nice. She's very, very sweet, but she never says anything bad. She just has to just give you the, and oh man, I've screwed up big time. Or just flat out tell you, this just doesn't work, and you can do better than this. You need someone who's going to be your Han Solo, who's going to slap you and go, no. You can do better than this. So you need that.
Man, you muted yourself.
We got a couple other people that have joined us. I do that all the time, guys. Sorry about that. Hey guys, thanks for hopping on. And here we go.
Hey, Natalie.
And then Margaret said, fans for consistency, betas for structure. Good point, Allegra.
Good point. I like that
and
a lot.
that is a very good point, because a lot of beta readers do kind of transition over to more fan-like. And even though I'm one of those, like, sometimes feedback will make me cry depending on how severe it is, like, you know, but it's it's one of those necessary evils to make our work the best, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I've slid into 3-day depressions because of someone just flat out telling me, really, I couldn't get through the first few 3 pages or something. I'm just like, and I realized, okay, you're right. This story sucks. How can I make this better? Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, it's rough. And choosing beta readers, the whole trust idea, like, how do you decide that they're trustworthy, especially when a lot of us are probably getting them just from like Facebook groups or offline?
For me, I just let it, what they tell me, how it really vibes for me. And also, does it seem right? I'll ask other friends who I do trust, other author friends, hey, what do you think? And get their advice. But usually you just know whether or not what they're giving you is really good advice.
Yeah, you can kind of tell, but like Nikki was saying, from the feedback that you get, whether they've read it, how deeply they've read it, whether they bothered to try to understand the universe that it's set in.
Sorry.
That is funny. Sorry, guys. Continue, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah, because I've had people read a story and say, yeah, but this isn't a, XYZ, and you're right. It's not an XYZ. It's not that kind of a story. It's a ABC, and you read it as an XYZ, so that's why it didn't make any sense to you. Yep. So that's the person that you don't go back to the next time.
They don't get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm just going to say hi to Cassie because Cassia, I'm Lake Traveler.
Ah, nice.
She edited one of my pieces for another anthology. So
sweet.
Talk about beta reading, right?
Yeah. So Courtney, how do you pick, like, because you work with a team of beta readers and ARC readers for your anthologies, right? Do you have them sign up? Like, can you share a little more about that with us?
I actually have a newsletter list of beta readers and an ARC readers. And then I also for ARC readers, I will go to Book Sirens, which I highly recommend. They have some great resources over there. But I have built over the years a newsletter list. And when it's time for something, I will, I'll give them a heads up a few weeks before. I'm like, hey, I've got this in the works. It's coming soon if you want to sign up for it. And then I'll usually use like a Google form and capture whoever wants to, who wants to be involved with that project. And then I will send them when it's ready. I always try to let them have a few weeks to know, get ready, it's coming. If you want to do it, here it is. And I like to give them the choice because some of your stories, especially some of the things I do, I genre jump a lot. And I can go from urban fantasy to time travel to hard sci-fi, so it's a lot of different genres. So I try to get just what they actually want to read, because the worst thing you can do is send something to someone and it's not their genre and they don't read it, because then they are going to pick it apart and maybe not give you the best feedback because they're not your target genre or target reader. Sorry. And so yeah, I just utilize that newsletter list that I have built over the years, and I actually have a sign up on my website, and I think I've still got it in my link in bio. If not, I need to add it there. But having it in obvious places where people that want to join your team can join, and then you can also just send them something small, like a small short story, and kind of gauge whether they give you good feedback and whether you trust the feedback that they send. And then you can move them in. That's the great thing about newsletters. You can move them into different segments for different types of stories. And that's how I do it. I'm a newsletter person. I'm a big about organization and spreadsheets and things. So all of my stuff goes through a process. I also do paid beta reading for other authors. So I can kind of on that end of the thing too. So people bring me their manuscripts and I critique those, and I've got like my own sort of beta sheets that show, what I'm looking for in the story and things like that. So I do both sides of it.
Nice. That is actually some really good advice.
Yes.
So, we've got some more comments here. Here's a hi for Adam, and then comment on Courtney's Google Forms. So
Yes, I do.
which I mean, it's not bad to be organized. I'm not, and all the pros do right. So yeah, like that's awesome advice. I'm trying to switch over to being more organized with the Google Sheets, and then the specific newsletter to beta readers to see if they're interested. That's really good. Like, yeah,
It's fascinating. Yeah.
I as kind of a counterpoint to what CL just said, though, is that the person who's reading it doesn't necessarily have to be a fan of the genre, but they have to recognize it for the genre it is.
Yes.
So they can bring a slightly different perspective to the beta or the arc if they're coming at it from a different point of view. So they can say, okay, the story was good and I understood this and I understood that. And I came at it from a romance point of view, and I thought you got those relationship elements really well, as pieces of the story. So that can help broaden the appeal of the final product.
Right.
Again, you have to have somebody who, who's not going to read a science fiction book as a romance book, but it's still having some of that overlap helps, I think.
Again, I've had people send me romance stuff to read, and I'll flat out tell them I don't do romance. I just don't. But I have friends, and I will send it to them because I don't know. I get bored very easily if there isn't a monster or murder somewhere nearby. So, yeah.
it's always fun to have that extra stuff in a romance. Oops, not my question. Here's that. Is that a segment in your list or a separate list, Courtney, for the beta readers?
It is I have 2 separate lists for Fiction Atlas. I have some that go to my authors and some that go to my readers. So I have a whole separate MailerLite account, and then I segment inside of that MailerLite account.
Nice. And then, Margaret, the questions have fled from my mind because of the clashing shirt and paint on / behind Adam. Love both.
Talk on it, Adam.
So when you go, beta readers and ARC readers, for the viewers that don't know that, betas, they kind of go through the manuscript, look it over and everything, give you feedback. ARC readers, they get the basically finished process, read it, and post reviews. Have you guys had any issues with ARC readers in the past? Like, how do you go about differentiating them from each other, like finding the different groups?
So for me, a lot of my betas graduate into ARC readers once they become fans. There's been several times when I've been like, I love you to death, you're fabulous, but you're not giving me constructive feedback anymore. But I would gladly send you all my books before I publish them. Write what you think for the world to see. You always give fantastic, summaries and really good information about the book that readers might find interesting. But I think we all struggle with cultivating ARC readers who actually post reviews and who follow up and who do so in a timely manner. The perfect ARC reader is one that you send every single book to. They post a review on launch day and everything goes well. But finding those is always a struggle, and they are precious. It's worth treasuring them and thanking them profusely every time they actually pull through.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Joe wants
absolutely.
to remind everybody to smash the like button.
Oh
Don't
my
forget
God,
to
$6.
subscribe.
Oh, Lord.
$6.
Yeah,
Oh,
we won't even get started on the gas topic, guys. Adam, you were saying?
it's not that expensive here, but man.
Ugh.
Oh, no, I was just I was agreeing with Allegra. They go from betas to being ARC readers and getting those, and reading them as a fan instead of more critically. Just supporting and agreeing with Allegra.
Yeah.
Good. And then we've got a question from Margaret. Which of you folks separate out or use more than one of the following: CP, developer, editor, beta readers, ARC readers, street team? Seems to be the flow, but not all necessary. Ooh, that is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And I have seen like people use various parts of those. What about you guys?
Pretty much all of them.
Yeah. you get all the tentacles out, but of course when you do first get the beta readers, and then you go to all the editing. You've got the line editing, content editing, you got all the editing before you even get to the ARC. So for the ARC readers, so yeah, it's just you use all the things. People don't realize how many things goes into actually getting a in published book. So much time. That's why it takes almost a year or so to get a book out. Some of those people can do things out in months. I don't know these people. So yeah, no. I have a life. I mean, how do these people do this with a life? So, day job, family, yeah.
And then once you do all of that, you still find like 2 or 3 typos that get through once you've printed the book, and you're looking at you can have a village look at it, and there's what?
Always. Yeah, perfection is for the gods. It's not for us. No.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
And they multiply.
Yeah.
And they multiply. If there's one in there when it goes through, and you find it,
Yes.
and you stomp on it and you fix it, and then somebody else says, "Oh, by the way."
Yes. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I know. Like
"It wasn't
cockroaches.
there
They just.
before. I swear, it wasn't there before.
Yes. And then here's a comment. This trend of fast publishing is a mystery to me. I have to agree, because it's like insane. Because how?
How? I assume they have like people trapped in a basement somewhere, and they make them write for food, and that's how they get stuff out. Because I just don't see it.
It's not so much that it's
Typos equal triples.
it's not so much that it's fast publishing as it's the releasing and the timing of it all on the back end, because the things that are coming out now, started a year ago, but as it goes through the process, you can move on to the next one as the first one is, starting through the process. And once you get it rolling, then you can start getting stuff out, more and more quickly. But you always have something, okay, this just came back from this editor, and this just came back from the betas, and this just, all right, this one's ready to go out to the ARC readers. Okay, where am I? What day is it?
That's where I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, this is going to be where Courtney's Google Sheet ideas come in handy. Because I'm like, whoa, that's so much.
Actually, there are tools. Like authors, we tend to write alone. So we tend to not use project management tools, right? But for any type of product development, be it software or, actual physical products, you have all your phases of production, and books are like that. So as long as you are balancing your time throughout all of those, you can have a book always being written, and a book always out to beta, and always in edits, and always in like post-production formatting and all of that, and that could be 4 or 5 different books. If you have the constant stream of base material to start moving through that. The problem is juggling all of that is a full-time job. So there are methods to make it easier, though, whether it be spreadsheets or project management software. I'm a big fan of Trello. Like I run everything through systems, because if not, you lose it. Like there's just too many irons in the fire.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So we've got a couple more comments here. We get the haha on the typos. Typos are like missing socks. They just happen.
Gremlins.
Yeah. And then Margaret, I had that rolling switching up process going for my first 3 years of publishing, but then it got out of hand, and then the panini. So the train has rolled to a stop. And yeah, a lot of authors write an entire series and then rapid release. Yeah. Yes, different stages in the writing publishing process, kind of like how a song goes through the different stages / phases, composing the melody, harmony, vocals, accompaniment, music, vid. Yeah. So, and keeping it rolling like that it really is a lot of work. Like
a lot of work.
It's stressful and anxiety inducing.
And something that I'm starting to get into, because I jumped onto the Vela train when it started coming out last year, is that the Vela can be used almost as the beta, as a beta, as you're testing things out, trying to figure out, okay, is this story working? Because you get feedback. All right, you get the feedback immediately in the form of thumbs up. And if you're writing something and suddenly, at episode 20, you had been getting really consistent reads, and then episode 21 it falls off, you screwed something up. So it's like a developmental editor who just said, hey, dum 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 dum. You got it wrong, but you can go back and fix it. You can go back and re-upload the episode and try it again. So it's not quite as graceful as an editor, but it works. And the idea, okay, you got to keep writing. It's a way to get, as Margaret said, get the train rolling again and get things moving, because once they're done in Vela, you can move them out into the real world.
That's true. And I've actually picked up doing Vela like that with a story that I've been working on. It's not getting out as fast because obviously I've got like too many irons on the fire. But yeah, Vela's pretty cool for that. So
yeah, I'm going to be jumping in this year.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. It's been a learning experience, and Adam was the one that kind of encouraged me to try it. So Toby Adams says, that's where I am. Wrote a book 1 in 2019 to 20, still editing it, but wrote book 2 in 2021, which is next in line for revisions, and book 3 is up for writing this year. Margaret says, ooh, that's cool to hear. Yes, the creative process is kind of similar.
Yeah.
Okay, totally different topic. What's everyone's opinion on when it's a good idea to do a new cover on an existing book? Ooh, that is a great question. So, yeah, if you guys want to chime in on that, and I'll pull the rest of these up.
If your sales stop or if they slow down, if you look at the other book covers in your genre and your book cover is nothing like them, it's not hitting any of the trends, then it probably is time to do a recover, especially if you didn't have a professional designer. If you designed it yourself and now you have the money to do a professional design, I would really encourage it, because a professional cover is worth its weight in gold. It will sell your book almost no matter what's inside it. Sometimes I don't want to encourage, just get a great cover and don't worry about the rest, but it is probably the number one marketing tool that you have in your toolbox. So it's definitely something to invest your time and money in if you have it.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. And something else, so many authors get enamored of a cover. They're so, let's face it, there are a lot of great cover designers out there, and they'll have pre-mades up, and, people will go, oh, the shiny.
The shiny.
I'm guilty.
Oh, this is such a wonderful cover. I want this for my book, and it doesn't fit.
Right.
But
Very
they
much.
want it for the book, so they make it fit, and it doesn't work.
Right.
And then the next book in the series, they found another shiny, and it doesn't match the first one.
Right.
So you end up, I've seen it. You end up with these, a half a dozen covers on these books, and they're not consistent, and you can't tell that it's a series. And so that's definitely okay. Step back from the shiny. Step back from the cover that you fell in love with. Put it aside, and get something consistent for everything. I mean, Courtney said it's about branding. You gotta get it right.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
the same thing, bringing it back to the topic of beta readers, is you have to step back from the shiny in your own work too, in your own writing. There are so many times that there will be beta feedback, and I work with a lot of other authors, and one of them is actually dealing with this point right now, in which they got conflicting beta feedback from a few different people. And so they've been brainstorming how to fix one thing, and then a whole bunch of more beta feedback came in, and no one else complained about that one thing. And they were like, well, maybe we can keep it. Maybe it was just one person's opinion. And I just asked them, really frankly, would the changes make the book better?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter, like, we get so attached to our work, and sometimes one beta reader will say one thing and you realize that there's this massive change that would improve the book tremendously. And you gotta be frank with yourself at the beta stage and say, like, okay, is it time to just do the work, even if it's already written?
Right.
That's a good point. And then now waiting to see if it makes a difference on the cover thing.
Yeah.
Casting queries for recovering my trilogy. Ooh, yeah, rebranding a whole trilogy is not fun. So I had to do that with a series of 4 books, and I'm like, oh. I find it hard to imagine a different cover for my trilogy because it's just those are their faces, no distance. It's true.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah. No, I get where Margaret's coming from. I mean, my characters in the Cassidy Chronicles, that is who they are. Those faces, those people. But I got the same designer to do all the covers. So right from the start, she's known where it is. So I kind of stumbled into getting it right. It wasn't planned, but fortunately she knew more about consistency in doing covers than I did, and I had the good sense to listen to her.
Yeah. So, and I try to stick with covers that don't actually have people's faces on them in case, like, I don't know, I just like for my readers to create a person in their mind of their own creation, like not put this idea in their head.
Right.
So, and then same question, but relating to a series that's halfway through release. I don't do quick releases. So wait,
What's
Natalie, what are you?
Yeah.
I think she's asking about recovering.
Oh, recovering halfway through release.
If it will improve the brand identity, I'd say do it. If it won't improve the brand identity, then you probably don't want to until you're done.
Ooh, 5 of 9. Ooh, that's a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have character faces. I mean, the book covers are the book's faces. Sorry for any confusion. You're good, Margaret.
Right. I mean, the same thing though. Whether it's the book, whether it's the faces of the characters or the faces of books, you do to get attached to them. You do get, okay, that is who they are. That is who it represents. Right. And just my 2 cents on rebranding the covers. If if you are positive that you have the direction for the rest of the series and that that's going to work, maybe you look at redoing 1 through 4, but I like what Allegra, I think it was Allegra who said it, wait until you have them all out and then do the big boom relaunch, because you can, any publicity is good, right? So, make some noise and get it out there. And that way you also have, if you have any of the old covers kicking around in paperbacks, you can go, hey, this is a collector's edition now.
There you go. Collector's edition.
Yeah.
Or special edition instead of collector's edition. Sorry.
Yes.
Just muted myself again. So.
Well, you do a special edition deliberately. We talked about that, Maddie.
Yeah. And then any input for indie authors of literary and or mainstream fiction. And I like accepting people as they are, no makeup gal, but I suppose I can reframe books as not being people, hoping for a cover critique from the Courtney Projects channel, actually. So, and then I'm going back to this one. Any input for indie authors of literary and or mainstream fiction?
What kind of input?
Yeah. Do you want input on covers, Toby Adams, or anything in specific?
I think, as far as like betas and arcs are concerned, the process is the same. The goal of a beta reader is to get the like gut reaction of
Yeah.
a reader.
Right. Exactly.
And to know what the reader is thinking while they go through your books.
Does the
and-
story work? Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what emotion is the story inspiring in a reader? Is it the emotion you're trying to evoke? Is it are they leaving the book feeling hopeful and that's what you wanted? Or are they leaving the book feeling bleak and that's what you wanted? Like if it doesn't match up to what you were trying to do,
Exactly.
maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you missed something. I can't tell you how many times I've got a beta reader, coming back to me like, "Oh, this whole book is about sacrifice." I'm like, "Is it really? I didn't
Really?
think so." Okay, all right. That's my theme now. We're going with it. But
If that's what you ran into.
Yeah. But yeah, the process is more or less the same at this stage.
Mm-hmm. So Toby Adams asked, how to do the indie process. Is there anything specific that is different than for fantasy? Really, the processes are the same, I'd say. I mean, instead
Yeah.
of like the
mechanics are
traditional
the
route,
same.
trying to query, you're doing it all, right?
You're doing everything.
Mhm.
So,
Everything. Yeah. It's all coming out of your back pocket and it's all in, it's all on you.
mhm.
But you do have the power, so you have control, a lot more control than if you went through traditional. I mean, you have control.
It's true.
Yeah. The mechanism is the same whether you're publishing sci-fi, fantasy, mainstream,
Right.
romance, literary. If you're doing indie, it's all going to look the same from the outside. It's just the content that's different.
Issues happens when you're doing everything except writing.
Yeah, that's the whole there aren't enough hours in the day thing.
Oh gosh, yes. There's
So
never
many.
enough time in the day. Never enough caffeine to keep you going for long enough during the
Can
day.
we petition for a 48-hour day?
Could we please?
Yes.
I mean, yes and no. I like my sleep, but I also feel like I could be more productive if they were longer. So, I mean,
What
Imagine
was it
Friday.
in Men in Black? They ran on a 37-hour day.
man, crazy.
You'll either adjust or go crazy, one or the
Mhm.
other.
One or the
Yeah.
other. Well, yeah. But it is a problem with writers. If you have a life, I mean, I don't have people who don't, but you have family and if you have a day job, if you have all the things, it's really hard to squeeze in those times, but you've got to, if you're going to make it work. You
Yeah.
find the way. If there's will is a way, you'll find the way. So the floors are a little dirty for a while. You'll get
Yeah.
the stuff done.
Yeah.
And as for day job, well, you do your day job. So unless you're a neurosurgeon and a brain surgeon, well, yeah, that day job's really freaking important. But my day job, not so important. I'm just pushing papers. So
Yeah. Any input, Courtney, on that? On organizing it?
I would
Organizing
love
your
to get
day.
organizing. But do you give a course on how? Because I'd love to learn more about all the organizing because I am not.
I don't.
ADHD
Maybe I
kicks in.
should.
You should, because man, my ADHD and I'm no.
I have ADHD too, and I that's the only thing. The spreadsheets help me keep on track, but I still don't do everything that I need to do in a day because I have a bad not being able to say no problem, so I take on a lot more things. Yeah,
I've really learned how to say just fuck off. As you get older, you just learn to say that more and more. But no, my entire desk is covered in Post-it notes on things to do because I don't see it; it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Exactly, that object permanence thing. So that's why I have my spreadsheets, and I do have a lot of Post-it notes and
Everywhere.
of a million journals and things. So
right here, I'm working in it right now. So yeah.
Yes. The
Yeah.
organization process.
I
Oh,
went
and I'm taking notes as we're talking. I'm taking freaking notes.
Yeah, I mean, I actually went and bought a planner this year.
Planners don't work for me.
Well, this one.
Oh man, okay, maybe I should get that planner. I've been trying to use planners, and it just, once I've written it, I put it aside. It ceases to exist.
See,
So-
this is it's open on my desk, on the leaf.
I'm Nikki the goldfish. Keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on swimming.
For me, planners don't work because the moment I see more than 4 tasks in my to-do list, I'm gone.
Do you just freeze? Did your brain
I
just
freeze completely. My
Yeah.
brain stops working. So I've organized my entire to-do list so that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's hidden. It's over there in a column. I know I have to do it, but it's a future one day maybe thing. And then I just move the 1 to 2 to 3 tasks that I'm going to do that day or for the next 4 hours. And then I can get them done. And it's just like going down the checklist. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom,
it's
boom.
done. And then I look at the big list. But if I have that big list in front of me, nothing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just no, I'm going to take a shower. Thank you. It's time for a bath. Yeah. Okay, good. That's good to know. I'm glad I'm not alone. I do the very same thing. Yeah.
Well, guys, let's take a pause and let's hear from Miss Courtney here.
Ooh.
Hey guys, C.L. Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. Today I'll be telling you about some indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of Zero Repeat Forever by G.S. Prendergast. The first book I have for you is called Extraordinary by Danielle K. Girl. Ryder Carlson can hear the shadows whisper, and they are calling her name. Oliessa is a runaway with a secret so dangerous it could destroy worlds. When two girls meet, an extraordinary adventure is set to begin. In the shadowy halls of Clarendon House, Ryder stumbles upon a mysterious stranger. Oliessa is a girl like no one else on Earth. Powerful and hot-tempered, she is on the run, determined to escape the fate that awaits her. But Oliessa's enemies are not about to let her slip away, and they are prepared to tear our world apart to find her. Caught up in the chaos, Ryder and her friends must fight to stay one step ahead of the terrifying, otherworldly creatures sent to destroy Oliessa. But just who is Oliessa truly running from? The whispering shadows know the answer. Is Ryder brave enough to listen? The second book I have for you is called Violet City by Paige Morgan. He came to destroy, then he met her. In the chaos of an alien invasion, Penelope Simmons wants one thing: to get to her mom before the world ends. But after stumbling upon an unearthly chemical weapon and being hunted down by a tenacious and surprisingly human-looking Volcranian, Pen becomes entangled in an uprising of intergalactic proportions. To stay alive, Pen and her alien captor will have to trust each other. To save the world, they'll have to decide which species, human or Volcranian, is worth dying for. The third book I have for you is called Starfire by Janetta Penner. Two worlds collide, and only one of them can survive. Earth is doomed. On the last day of Cassie's starship journey to Arcadia, the New Eden, her father is killed in a mysterious explosion. Fortunately, a mysterious vanishing stranger with otherworldly blue-green eyes plucks her from danger at the last second. Officials swear the explosion was a horrible accident, but she knows they are lying, hiding something. About her father, about the nature of their new home. Orphaned and alone, she's cast aside and told to keep her mouth shut. Instead, Cassie's eyes are opened by newfound abilities, and soon the boy with the cyan eyes finds his way back into her life. An instant attraction draws her to Javine, and he offers her one dangerous chance to uncover the secret of what became of her father and who she really is. But secrets the planet holds may force her into an impossible choice only she can make. Saving humanity or saving Arcadia. And the last book I have for you is called Breaker Marine by James David Victor. As a Reeker, she was destined to live a hard life serving the whims of galactic corporations. As an Earth Alliance Marine, she has a chance to change the balance of power in the galaxy. Holly Cropper grew up as a Breaker, mining the outer reaches of space. Now, she's an up-and-coming lieutenant in the Earth Alliance Marines. Her mission? Keep the peace and help humanity survive in the endless darkness of space. When a distress call comes in from a large mining vessel, her orderly world gets turned upside down. What starts as a simple pirate takeover turns into a hostile alien invasion. This Breaker Marine and her small team might be the only thing standing between humanity and annihilation at the hands of ancient aliens.
Okay, that's all for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye.
Those are some great books.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Like, ooh.
And Margaret says she's got the same talking about the planner as me. Works 85% of the time. I have to agree. Toby uses, I use Trello the way Allegra does, one thing at a time. It's true. Yeah. It's hard because even using planner can be overwhelming sometimes, you know?
The thing I like about mine is that, once that block is filled up, and I don't write small, once that block is filled up, then that's all of the things that I plan to accomplish for the day. So it can't be overwhelming. It can't get to and the stuff that's on tomorrow or the day after, well, that's the stuff for tomorrow or the day after or the day after. I don't have to worry about that stuff today because I wrote it for tomorrow.
It's future Adam's problem.
That's future Adam's problem.
So Adam's problem.
So that's how I deal with there are 9,000,005 things that we have to do, but today I've got to do 3 of them. Okay, I can do 3. Yeah.
One bird at a time, like what Anne Lamott said in her book. Yep. One bird at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I feel like I still get overwhelmed because I have all the mom stuff on top of the regular.
Well, you're still in mom mode. Yeah, you're still in mom mode.
Which I know Courtney's probably the same way. She's like, you can't really list out like all the stuff for your kids because it's always like up in the air because you don't know what kind of mood they're going to wake up in. Like the past 2 mornings, my son's woke up and it's been like, I'm going to throw a fit about everything. I'm like, really? Do we have to start the day out like this? Let's change this whole method. We're gonna have a good day. Like, just change it. So
glad I'm beyond that now. No more children. Now it's just my own inner demons.
Yeah,
I have to deal with all the time.
But back to the beta reading stuff.
Yes, back to beta readers.
Yeah. I like to do 2 waves of beta readings. Like I do like round 1, send out beta copies, get their feedback, do more edits, send out round 2. What does y'all's beta reader process look like? Do you do something similar, or how is it for you guys?
I kind of do an alpha. I call them my alpha readers and then my beta readers. So the alpha readers get it, and then they'll send it back to me, and I'll fix usually those major errors, and then hopefully the betas pick up the smaller ones. And there's some overlap. If somebody who got a early copy wants to see it after I fixed it, then absolutely they get it again. But that's how I deal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, no, basically stories go through 1 or 2 washes before they get to the editor, because the editor's one's really going to make the big major changes because that's their job. That's what they get paid for. But yes, it goes through 1 or 2 good washes, maybe 3, 4. Depends on the story. Depends on how long it is. Just depends on the story.
Depends on how much blood you have to wash out.
Exactly. Blood,
So my process actually starts before the book gets written. I'm a planner, and I hate plot level revisions with a burning passion. If I have to change some major integral level of the plot, I want to know about it before I write it. So I write these big, long plot maps with detailed synopsis of every chapter, and then I send it out to some of my close feedback critique partners, and I'm like, okay, break it.
Brilliant.
And so I get my early alpha feedback before I've written the novel so that I can close up all the plot holes that are obvious to someone who isn't me. So by the time I send out to betas, it's already gone through that, and it's already gone through several authors reading over my shoulder while I'm writing, fixing things that I may have noticed. So I usually only do 1 round of betas after that, and it's really trying to get the reader perspective. And did I hit the right emotional beats? Did I hit the right mystery beats? Did they figure it out a couple pages before the characters do, like a good mystery wants to? That's what I'm trying to get from my beta readers. I probably have already closed up the major plot holes by the time I get there.
That's brilliant.
That is brilliant.
I am deeply envious of your planning.
Me too. I hate
That's what I'm saying.
Because I'm totally not that organized yet. Maybe someday in the future, because I'm working on it. I'm actually trying to incorporate the use of more Excel spreadsheets for keeping up with things. But work in progress. So Allegra, you have definitely given us something to aspire to, for sure. Because yeah,
We're not worthy. You should write that up, actually. Yeah. Actually, that'd be a really good book to sell to writers.
it would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a method that I'm slowly kind of trying to codify, because we do a lot of I do a lot of co-authoring, and
Right.
the game with a co-author is to know what you're writing before you start writing it, because if not, you're going to have a different image in your head, and a lot of pantsing happens. It's very easy to go off in a different direction, and the books are never what I actually planned them at the beginning, even after this process, because it changes while you write it. But that process of heavily planning for the sake of sending it to other people to break has shortened my post-production time by probably half.
Yes, that's what I love. You're saying to them, don't give me pretty pony pads. I want you to break this.
Yes.
Why won't this story work? Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. I'm gonna steal that. Stealing it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I'm working on becoming more of a planner than a pantser. And I actually talked about it in my newsletter recently, how I'm transitioning over from being a pantser, because when you plan it all out, it's easier to to keep going.
Right.
You can look at your outline and be like, okay, so this is where my thought was. Just pick up and keep going. And I've kind of learned more of like doing that by doing a Vela story, because for me, it's like small increments on top of like editing another manuscript that I've got going on right now. So yeah, I love that. Love it. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you guys seek out your beta readers? I know I use Story Origins' new beta reading thing they've got going on. And I really love how it's been. I can just share the link like, hey, would you want to be a beta reader? Like, look over my story. And it list all their feedback for you, so it's not trying to chase down like multiple things. But what do you guys use for that to keep all the track of all the changes? Sorry, let me finish that.
Okay. What do you keep track of the changes that the beta readers give me?
Yeah, like the feedback they give you.
I'm not as good as you guys. I just I have all of their stuff set aside, and I just take notes and take notes.
I mean, it's kind of a. It's kind of a, okay, got the feedback. All right, what are the outliers? Where's the congruence? Okay, go in, fix it.
Yeah. Or ignore it if I don't believe it. So
I send a separate copy via a Google Drive to each of my beta readers. I ask them to put inline emotional responses. Oh, I laughed here. Oh, I lost interest here and stopped for the night. And then I merge all of them. There's a feature in Google Drive that lets you merge all comments. And because I haven't changed anything in the text, it will merge it perfectly. So I can see if there's clusters of comments. Yes, everyone laughed here, or only one person did. And I also send out a questionnaire asking for the specific things that I want feedback on, and some more general things. Did you lose interest at any point? Did you like character A? Did you like character B? But being able to merge comments into one document at the end is so useful.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that with Google Docs. That's why I've been doing the Story Origin, because it like keeps it all together. And like if one person comments and another person comments on the same section, it's like got them grouped together. So I like that. I didn't know that about Google. And Anita says she started using the Story Origin beta reader system too. Very helpful. So
I want to try it. I heard about it, and I think it might be something I use in the future. Right now, I just send them to the people that sign up. I usually send like a PDF so they can mark it up like a separate one for everybody. They send it back to me, and I also have a questionnaire like Allegra does that says just general things about it. And then I have like another comment section. Was there anything that specifically stuck out to you that you think I need to change? Did you like this character? Do you understand what the moral of the story or the arc of the story, where it's going, and does it make sense? Do you think that other people that read this type of story would like it? Just general, more broad questions, and then they can put their more detailed feedback in the PDF, and then I go through it. But I would like to get into something like Story Origin where it puts it all together. And I did not know that about Google either, so I will probably be modifying some of my stuff. This is one of the great reasons to be on shows like this, because you learn so much about the way other people are doing things, and it might be better than the way that you were doing it, and you can incorporate it into your process. It's awesome.
I agree, because I feel like I've actually learned a lot this
I've learned so much.
episode. Because we've all had great feedback, because all of our the ways we do things is different, and we learn from each other. This is even with interviews, because I mentioned at the start of the show, I do author interviews, chatting with authors regularly for interviews. There's always something different, always something you can take away. So, yeah. Well, guys, this has been a blast. How about we go around again and tell our viewers where they can find you and your work? We're going to start with you, Nikki.
Oh, me. Okay, hi. You can find all my stuff on my website right there or on Amazon. Just Google me up on Amazon. I'm pretty much everywhere.
Adam.
Oh, muted.
Oh, I'm muted. Ah. So that was too quick, Nikki. I wasn't ready for you to.
I am sorry.
Bam. So my stuff is at CassidyChronicles.com. That's a great place to start. You can find me online on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I've so far pretty much avoided TikTok, but the pressure is building. And the books are on Amazon, and they are going wide. So, yeah, look me up, and love to hear from my readers.
Awesome. And Allegra?
Hey, you can find me at my website, also at AO Collective Publishing.com. I know my own website. And I'm all over social media as author Allegra. You can also find my books on Amazon and Audible. Almost all of them are now on Audible or will be soon. Yeah, and I also have a YouTube channel, Plot Mom, where I talk about writing and plotting mostly and do some author interviews.
Awesome. And guys, I'm Madilynn Dale. You found us at Go Indie Now. Make sure you smash the like button, as we mentioned earlier. Subscribe so you know when we go live. You can find all of my stuff at my website here. I'm literally all over the place on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. You can find all of the links to that on my website. It'll be easier. And find the way to sign up for author interviews if you're interested. We are now going to go to the last 5 minutes with Miss Courtney Cannon. So here we go.
Hey guys, I am going to go ahead and tell you where to find me, and then I will read a little bit of some information about Wicked Wishes. Because Wicked Wishes is an anthology and it has 15 stories in it, I couldn't possibly read you just one excerpt from everybody's story. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this kind of stories that we have in there and the charity that it benefits. But if you want to find me anywhere, you can find me down, I can't do it either, Adam, at clcannon.net. And I'm also on fiction-atlas.com. I am all over the internet as CL Cannon or CL Cannon author. On Instagram, I'm CL_Cannon, and Fiction Atlas actually has a new Instagram that I'm going to be posting a lot of indie stuff on, lots of indie books. So if you want to follow us there, it's just Instagram at Fiction Atlas. But let me tell you a little bit about Wicked Wishes. They already put the cover on there, which I'm happy about because I was trying to get it printed off because we don't have a print book yet. It's in the works, but there is the book. It is a Be Careful What You Wish For anthology. It's actually our 9th anthology from Fiction Atlas, and it's got 15 tales of wishes gone wrong in it. It is going, all the proceeds are going to the World Literacy Foundation, which is a foundation that helps children have all the tools that they need to read. It is a worldwide company, so it benefits children everywhere, not just here in the United States. It is actually founded in Australia, and like I said, that it's worldwide. We have actually Wicked Wishes has been out for 1 week. We've already sold 500 copies. So we're really happy about that. That's a lot of money that's going to the World Literacy Foundation. They've been a great partner throughout this whole process. Let us use their logo. They promoted us on their social media. So they're great to work with. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the stories that are in here. I'm just going to read some of the synopsises that the authors have given for their stories. I'm going to start with my story. My story, Wicked Wishes, is called Meet Me at the Crossroads. I want to do something a little bit different than, somebody just making a wish. I wanted it to be something that was really dire consequences. So this one is about a man that meets a demon at the crossroads. It's a demon or a deity. I kind of want to think more as deity, but she tries to save him because in the old days, at the crossroads, you also had like hangings and things like that. So he cries out for help, and he meets this demon or deity, and he wants to live forever. So he makes a wish and a deal, I guess, and he gets to live forever. But there are dire consequences that he probably didn't think about as he was, just trying to save his own life. Then we also have one called Ella's Wish. Ella Elderbrand has one goal this semester: to blend in on campus like a human, so she and her sister can stay in one place for more than a few years at a time. The only problem is Ruby's temper keeps getting them both in trouble. Fire witches aren't known for their cool heads. When Ella wishes that just once she doesn't have to be her sister's keeper, a djinn summoned by a campus by an angered co-ed takes full advantage and Ruby disappears, leaving Emma 24 hours to undo the magic mistake or lose her sister forever. The next one is called Date with a Demon. This one involves a witch named Morrigan who finds herself alone on prom night, and so she resorts to summoning a demon. And the boys at the school have treated her terribly. The girls have treated her even worse. And so she wants revenge, but she also wants one night where she isn't the freak. But the demon that emerges from the summoning circle isn't all what she expected, and she might just get what she wished for. The next one is called A Dream Made Flesh by our very own Adam Gaffin. It says, Diana is a citizen of the Terran Federation and a minister in the government. She's also one of the most advanced AIs in the system. When given a chance to transition to a human body, should be less than sentient not to explore it, but there are risks and costs. She might not survive the crossing. She might never wake up. Worse, she may not achieve the dream she pursues. Will she pay the price to be human? We also have one by Paul Eagle called Tabula Rasa. This one is about a perfect civilization and a scientist who wants to achieve that. And finally, it does happen. There's some aliens that come and they fix everything, but is that really what we want, a perfect society? And how can it be a perfect society? That one's really good. I really enjoyed it. There's one called Protide. Falsely accused crewman under harsh punishment angrily calls upon the gods of the sea to exact revenge and curses the ship and all the crew on it. That one's really good. We have one called In the Dying of the Light by Joe Holloway. Before I became the Amber Witch, I was just Amber. I lived with my father and brothers under the shadow of the growing mist. With plants failing and sunlight fading, we struggled to survive along with the rest of our dying town. But what choice did we have? When a devastating blow strikes our town, I know what choice I have. It's dangerous, and it's one no other person here can make, because I'm the witch with a wish to grant. We also have one called The Influencer, which is really good. It's about a person who wants to be very famous. She's been on TikTok. She's trying to get famous, and she just doesn't know why she's not getting more famous. And so she actually makes a wish with a guy that she met online, and it turns out to not really be a dream come true. There's one by S. Breaker. Says Astrid loves to read, and she makes a wish, and now she's stuck in a book. So that one's really fun. We have The Wishing Well by Melissa Beckwith, a middle-aged woman named Claire. She comes upon a wishing well, and she decides that it would maybe be able to change her life for the better. But it's when her wish is granted, she kind of wishes that she never made it because of the life that she has to leave behind. There's one called Kids Will Be Kids, where a djinn runs amok and enlists a group of kids to help him grow his powers. There's one called Soul Tea, where it says, whoever said ignorance is bliss never meant Tristan Mallory. The discredited stockbroker turned con man and a thief has finally crawled out of the ruin of his old life and is determined to never let a lack of knowledge be the best of him again. So it's basically about a thief that tries to rob a thrift store and gets more than he bargained for. There's one called Unenchanted Wishes about Prince Charming. It's a retelling of Cinderella. We have Musical Meals, which is about a girl who wants to be a famous singer. And unfortunately, when she finds someone that promises to make her a famous singer, she gets more than she bargained for. And we have a really hilarious one by Kay Matt called The Half Monkey's Paw. It's a kind of hilarious, humorous take on The Monkey's Paw, the original story. I hope you will check all of these out. The anthology has a lot of great authors in it, a lot of really inventive stories. And like I said, all the money is going to charity. You can go to bookstory.com/Wicked Wishes and find it on all retailers. And it's coming to paperback this week as soon as Ingram Spark gets their tail in gear and gets their manuscript approved. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. And remember that it's always time to go indie now.